The waters of creation reveal their truths in many forms. Stories from the ancient ones, both mythical and scientific, often combine to shape great wisdom teachings. This is how I learned about my people, the Maya. My grandmother told me many stories. She learned these stories from the old ones before her, stories that were passed down old to young since the dawn of time. Now I will tell you what I know, starting from the beginning. In the beginning, before earth, sun, and moon, there was only stillness in the dark waters. Everything lay silent. Our gods, heart of sky and feathered serpent, were resting in the middle of the waters, all coiled up in their iridescent blue-green feathers. In these dark waters, the gods began to stir. They wondered, how should we make the world? How should we begin? They began by measuring out the 4 directions: north, south, east, and west. Earth, the gods cried, and the earth rose from the deep. They called forth the first mountain, and it rose of its own will. This was the dawning of the Maya world. It is here from this earth that we begin the tales of the Maya skies. The movement of the sun, the moon, and the stars guided the lives of my ancestors. We Maya live near the equator, in the lands that are now called Mexico, Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. I'm taking you to a special place, deep in the jungle where the great Maya city, Chichen Itza, was built, in the heart of the Yucatan Peninsula. My earliest ancestors must have endured many hardships in this tropical wilderness. Surviving in this dense and dangerous world wasn't easy. Yet they were able to create a powerful and complex culture. Let's go back to the time when my ancestors built this great city in the jungle. A time when our astronomers learned the language of the skies, so that my people could be led by the sun, the moon, and the stars. Our ancient tales say these were the first stars our gods created to bring the world out of darkness. Look, there's the constellation Gemini. For us, it is Owl, the messenger of the gods. His are the eyes of night. And there's the constellation of Orion. We see it as a turtle carrying 3 stones on its back. These 3 stars are called the hearthstones of creation. They're like the hearthstones of my family's cooking fires. which lie at the center of our homes. We believe the gods created a world with 3 levels: the sky, the earth, and an underworld called Xibalba, where the lords of death reign. Come with me to this cave known as Balancanche, where sacred rituals took place. See that huge formation that seems to hold up the roof of the cave? It reminds me of the story telling how the sky, earth, and underworld were created. The gods lifted up the sky and placed a sacred ceiba tree, the tree of life, in the middle of the 3 levels. The upper branches are in the sky, and the lower branches and the trunk are on the earth, and the roots are in the underworld. After our world was connected together by the tree of life, the gods created us, the Maya people. First, the gods took earth and made people from mud, but the mud people washed away in the rain. Then the gods tried wood, but the gods weren't pleased with the stiff wooden people. The gods tried yet again. This 3rd time, they used a sacred plant. They made my people from corn, which sustains life. And the gods were pleased. There's a magical story about the birth of corn and the creation of the sun and the moon. Long ago, when the world was new, there was only night, and the only light was starlight. In this new world, there were 2 brothers, Hunahpu and Ixbalanque. They weren't just ordinary boys. They were twins, and one day they would become the sun and the moon. Above them flew a beautiful giant macaw. The twins were famous hunters, and with 1 clay pellet from their blowguns, they shot the proud macaw because he boasted that he was the sun and moon. Oh, they knocked out his silver eyes, his turquoise teeth, and now he circles the sky as the Big Dipper. Hunahpu and Ixbalanque grew up to be ball players. The game was played with a rubber ball they had to hit with their hips through a stone ring. They needed great skill and stamina because later their lives would depend on it. The twins were not only champion ball players, they also possessed the magic powers of their dead father, Hunahpu, whose bones were moldering in the underworld, the grim and fearful land of Xibalba. The boys would play their noisy game all day. This angered the lords of death who lived under the earth. "Come down to Xibalba and play with us," the gods of death howled. The boys knew that if they played with the awful lords, they would risk their lives, but they were not afraid. They would go to the underworld with a secret plan to rescue the soul of their dead father. As they rode to the land of death, they sang this song